Another conversation I've had numerous times over the past couple months has been the fact that PRI techniques are difficult and will always remain difficult because they are challenging your ability to stabilize the inherently weaker left side of your body and breathe in that position. Whether you realize it or not, 85 to 90% of those techniques are doing just that, forcing you to shift to the left, even if you're lying on your back or lying on your side. We are putting your brain perceptually in a state, and your body, in a state of left-sidedness. You're in the left hemisphere, and you have to stabilize your pelvis, your rib cage, your femur, with contact from the ground, feeling the appropriate muscles, left adductor, left glute medius, left hamstring, blah, 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 while breathing with the left diaphragm. And that is the key. It will always be more difficult to breathe with your left diaphragm when standing on your left leg, even though you're not standing in this case, you might just be lying down. But either way, your brain is sensing, oh, I'm on the left side of my body, I have to use this left diaphragm to breathe. It is inherently more difficult than doing that on the right side. That's what we see every single time. That's the whole point of this. It's easier to stand on your right leg and breathe than it is to stand on your left leg and breathe, which is fine until that over-dominance of the right side, that natural inherent dominance of the right side becomes too extreme. That's where the problems arise. But most people attempt to overcome the difficulty of stabilizing the left side of their body and breathing with the left diaphragm. They say, holy shit, this is really hard. They start to shake. And what do? Instead of relaxing with the difficulty and just feeling the difficulty pervade, diffuse through their body, just let it be difficult, they try to overcome it by creating more tension and working harder. The problem is, the harder you work, the more you're making a technique into a gym exercise where you're creating tension to feel a muscle. PRI is trying to get you to completely relax and feel a muscle. So we're trying to get you out of a dominant sympathetic state and put you into a parasympathetic state, rest and digest, and experience your body in that position. Because only in that position can you turn off your extension muscles, the patterns, as we say. If you're creating tension to do PRI techniques, it's ass backwards. It's not going to work. So that's why I reiterate, these are not gym techniques. It is the first noble truth of PRI techniques, that they are difficult, and they are difficult by their inherent nature. They are not to be overcome. You just sit with the difficulty. Will they get easier to do as you understand the techniques better and you get better at doing them? Yeah, but I don't stop shaking when I'm doing them. I still shake. I still struggle. No, I don't say I struggle. From a perspective of, oh crap, I gotta make this easier, I gotta overcome this challenge, they're difficult. But I don't think of them as difficult in that way anymore. I think of them as difficult because inherently they're more difficult because you have a weaker left side of your body. And it's just like the first noble truth of Buddhism. And I tell this to everybody. Life is difficult for everybody. It doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor, white or black, Japanese or Chinese, it doesn't matter. Life is difficult. You love people, they die. You love people, they leave you. You love people, they betray you. You have friends, they leave you. You have romances that break up. You get hurt. You're emotional, you're humans, you have feelings. So by definition, life is difficult because of those things. However, when you can accept those things, and if you realize that, man, we're all every single human, whatever you're feeling right now, there's probably a billion other humans feeling the exact same thing. So you're really not that alone. So whether you're in physical pain, or whether you have just gone through a breakup, you got dumped, you got a divorce, whatever it's going to be, someone died, there's millions and millions and tens of millions, maybe billions of other people that are feeling the exact same thing right now. So that is just the realities of life. It's not pessimistic, because what you then realize is, oh wait, it's not just because of something I did wrong, or I just can't get things right, or I'm living life the wrong way. that's just how it is. And when I had that realization, because I used to always, personalize pain. Like, oh, I felt pain because I wasn't good at something, or I was unlovable for some reason, or whatever it was going to be, unlikable, or I just couldn't get things right, or I wasn't good enough. And instead, once I realized that that wasn't the case whatsoever, well, it's a lot easier to be happier because you don't personalize what you're feeling. You just realize it's a completely normal part of life. Death is part of life, but so is being happy and joyous and loving your jobs and loving your friends and just having an amazing time in life. That's all part of life if you realize you can let go of the difficulties, in the sense that they're only difficulties because you attach yourself to the idea that they're difficulties and somehow they're related to you. That's one way of thinking about it. But life is simply difficult for everybody because they're human. PRI techniques are difficult because they're challenging the weaker side of your body. I don't try to overcome it. I try to do a good job with it and breathe with my left diaphragm and feel my muscles. But at no point am I trying to make it easier, because it's never going to happen. So, just like with life's difficulties, they're not all to be overcome. It is what it is. There's no way around the facts of life, so to speak. But if you don't personalize those difficulties and feel like it reflects you in some way, or it reflects, some sort of self-value, unless you're being a jerk. And if you're trying to harm people and you're seriously being, if you're completely unaware of that, that's one thing. But if you know you're a jerk, well, you got issues, and you're bringing about your own struggles. But if your intentions are good and you're a kind person, you treat people with respect, then life's difficulties are simply because they're difficult. The other issue, obviously, is, are you attaching yourself to outcomes? Like, oh, this exercise should get easier, this technique should get easier, and it's not getting easier, thus I'm frustrated. Or my body should start feeling better immediately, thus I'm frustrated. Or I didn't get that job promotion, thus I'm frustrated. Or that girl rejected me, thus I'm frustrated. Well, maybe your expectations aren't completely realistic, and that's why you're frustrated. So I think also a lot of people need to really examine whether they're frustrated because of, whether they're frustrated because of their expectations. Like, I sat down to do this video, I didn't expect there to be like 15 little kids outside my window yelling. However, that's life. I'm not gonna do it over and wait 3 hours until they go home, because that's probably not gonna happen. You deal with it. It's one of those life's frustrations. That's the first noble truth, that life is difficult. It's unsatisfactory sometimes. Some people call it suffering. Life is suffering. That's not really, I don't think that's the right translation. Not that I speak the language in which it was originated, but the point is that life inherently has difficulties, and just like PRI techniques are inherently difficult, if you just are okay with it and can relax with that fact that life is difficult at times, not always. And life is, and PRI techniques are difficult by nature. If you can relax with that idea and not think it's because you can't do it right, it's like people who say they can't meditate because I can't stop thinking. Well, you have a brain, you're not gonna stop thinking. The point isn't to stop thinking, the point is just to acknowledge the thoughts and let go. Sit and breathe. PRI techniques, position yourself and breathe and feel your body. That's really all it is. So stop striving to do things right every single time. Put effort into it, obviously. But there is nothing to overcome. That's what I'm trying to say. Life is difficult, PRI techniques are difficult, meditation is difficult if you think it's difficult. So challenge your thoughts, challenge your beliefs, challenge your expectations. Are other people disappointing you, or is it your expectations that are setting you up for disappointment? So that's the first noble truth of PRI and life, is that it can be difficult at times by its very nature, not because you're doing anything wrong.